Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We do a couple of webinars a month. Sometimes they are overview, usually given by our sales team, and it might be a general overview of ClubExpress or talking about a particular vertical, like a bicycle club or a sailing club or a chamber of commerce. And those are for people that are either new to ClubExpress or considering ClubExpress as an association management solution. And a couple of times a month, we do sort of deep dives into various functionality, various modules within ClubExpress. So today we're going to be talking about business memberships and how you configure this new feature and how the members would actually sign up. But let's take care of a little bit of housekeeping first. All of the phones and microphones are muted, so questions should be entered into the chat window, and I'll be monitoring the chat while Samantha is demonstrating. And at the end of the demonstration, we will revisit the chat window to see if there are any questions that hadn't already been answered. And this is particularly useful if you are watching this as a recording. And all of our recordings are available on the clubexpress.com Cool Stuff page. So you go to clubexpress.com, click on Cool Stuff in the upper right, then click on the Webinars tab, and you'll see that we have the schedule of upcoming webinars and we have all of the recorded webinars. They're also available in the help system. All the videos are actually stored on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and search for clubexpress.com. And if you click on the subscribe button and the subsequent notify bell, you'll be notified of all new content as we upload them to YouTube. And if you are using ClubExpress, and particularly if ClubExpress is working very well for you, we would like for you to go to clubexpress.com/reviews and click on one of these review sites, leave a review so other people who are evaluating association management solutions can have the benefit of your experience with ClubExpress. So today we have Samantha, who is going to be talking about business memberships.
Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm really excited to host this webinar. It's a pretty big step, especially for people who have a lot of businesses joining their organization. So until recently, if an organization or a club or association wanted to offer something like a business membership, they'd need to configure their existing member types that they offer to allow multiple people, state that the members join through their business or professional lives in your people options, and leave it up to the primary member to add every other member to their membership. Now, through the addition of business memberships as a member type, you can truly have a business as a member, not just a membership of people who happen to also add business information. And
Samantha, so just to clarify here, in the past, if somebody had a business and they wanted their employees to be membered, you would configure a membership type much like a family membership, where each of the secondary or tertiary members are attached to your membership. So that's sort of the analog to the business member. Is that correct?
Yes. So now through the addition of business memberships, you can really have just a business as a membership, not just a membership of people who happen to all add business information, whether they're related or not. And you can add these member types even when you have members joining your organization primarily through their personal lives. So business memberships are configured so that the business or the company is the member, and there's a point person or a contact or primary contact for that membership, and that's the person who initially starts that membership. Another feature of business memberships is that the point person in the membership or the primary contact can have the ability to have full control over how people are added to that business membership. And again, this member type can be used for all organizations, even if you've stated that your members generally join through their personal lives. So to go through some of the differences, here's a compare and contrast of business memberships, which we now offer, versus members signing up who might be joining through their professional lives. So the first point, again, is that in business memberships, the business is the member, whereas when you have memberships that you may have called a business membership previously or a corporate membership, which was really just a membership that included primary, secondary, and maybe tertiary members, the primary member is the member. Next up, there are some differences on the profile screen that your members will see, and you, of course, as administrators will see. So under the new business membership type, profile screens list the business or organization information first, and that primary contact, that person who started the business membership, their information is still listed in the profile. It's just secondary. Whereas previously, through that original type of a business or corporate membership that you might have created on your own, the profile screen would list the member information first, and the business or work information would be second. The next difference is in the member manager. So in the new business membership type, if you have a business membership, one of the things that you'll notice is that the business name is actually the bold name in that member name column. Whereas previously, the member manager would still list the primary member or even secondary member as that bold name, and the business name would be underneath it, not hidden, just a little less prominent. So now the business name is the more prominent name in that member name column. And then the last feature is that with business memberships, you can allow that primary contact to control how people are added to that business membership. You can give them full control, or you can allow them to distribute a special code to other people that might be adding themselves to that membership. And of course, we'll go through that today. Whereas previously, again, through the older type of a business or corporate membership that you may have configured on your own, only the primary member could add other users to a membership. It works, again, the same way as a membership that just happens to include multiple people, where that primary member is always responsible for adding others to that membership. Now, it's important to note that just like with all of your other member types, you as an administrator still have the ability to go in and add members to memberships. So the primary member has that ability. Other users might have the ability to add themselves to an existing business membership, and you as an administrator have the ability to add people. So in today's demonstration, we're going to create or configure a couple of business membership types. We're going to have a primary contact sign up initially to sort of open up that business membership or get it started, and then add additional members to the membership. We'll also take a visit to the member profile and the member manager to see what changes you might see if you enable business memberships. So the first member type that we are going to create is just going to be the business membership type, where once the primary member signs up, any additional members can add themselves to it. So I'm logged into the Northwest Balloon Club as Martin Smith, who's an administrator. I'm going to take a visit to the control panel in the People tab under the setup options, member types. So most of the information that you're going to be configuring is going to be the same. There's really just a couple of things that you have to take a look at when you're configuring a membership as a business membership. So in the interest of time, I've created two that we're going to use today, but we'll go through the things that I configured so you can see how I got there. The first membership that we're going to take a look at, and again, I would get there just by clicking Add Member Type. The first membership that we're going to take a look at is the business membership, where additional members use a special code to add themselves to an existing membership. So let's take a look at the configuration. First up, of course, we have the name and the description, the duration. Many of these options you're already familiar with if you've already created member types. We have plenty of tutorials and online help to help you go through all of these settings. We also have a how-to guide that we just added to our help system that goes through creating member types and setting up your membership sign-up wizard step by step. So take a look at the how-to guide, which you can find on our help system if you need more detailed help on setting up a member type. So under general settings, the new option that you would see would be towards the bottom, and it just asks, is this a business membership? When you select yes, you're then prompted to decide, can members within the business add themselves to the membership? In this case, we want members to be able to add themselves. So we've selected yes. Now, Something to note, we're talking a little bit about approval. So there is an approval process that additional members will go through, but that happens with the primary contact. So even though other members can add themselves to this business membership, that primary contact still gets a final say. They can approve or reject anyone that decides to add themselves to that membership. Now, that's different from the general requires approval setting that's right above it. That's administrator approval. That option is still there for you. So you as an administrator can still require that even signing up for that initial business membership go through your membership director or anyone else on your team that approves memberships when people are signing up. So one of the things that I'm going to do in the interest of time today is I'm just going to make the fee for joining this particular membership 0. That way we can see all of the changes live and we don't have to wait for anyone to make a fake payment to our demo site. So I'm going to go ahead and save those changes. Now, in the next example, we have a business membership where the primary contact has to add members. They have to be added through their profile screen in the same way that you would normally add additional members to a membership if, say, you have a corporate membership that you've set up or a household membership. So let's take a look at that. And again, we have a lot of the same information that we've already configured. The only difference is that we're not allowing members to just sign themselves up to this particular business membership. And the only difference is that under business membership, we've just said that members cannot add themselves to the membership. And that's really all that you have to configure as far as setting up your member type. It's really simple. And it's also important to note that these particular, I'm just changing the fees in the same way for this particular option as well. This option is available to you. There's nothing for us at ClubExpress to activate on your side. It's already on your website. It has been since we announced version 9.4 a few weeks ago.
Samantha, before you save, here is also, like with any multi-tier membership, here's where you can set maybe the minimum and maximum number of secondary or tertiary members. So you could say, I'm going to limit this only to a maximum of 20 members in addition to the primary member.
Oh, yes. So when you're adding additional members to the membership, the thing that you want to take note of is not only that you're adding secondary or tertiary members, but the difference between the two of them. So secondary members are going to have their own login to your website. Secondary members are just like primary members, except they're listed as the secondary member on the membership. They can log in, they can edit their own profile, they can register for events just like any primary member, they can access member-only content on your website. Whereas tertiary members don't have a login for your website. So they can only access the non-member or the public side of your site. Tertiary members can still be registered for events under the guise of a primary or a secondary member, but they don't have access to, again, that member-only content. So if you have a lot of donation funds that are sitting on your member-only side, or if your event calendar is sitting on your member-only side, your tertiary members wouldn't be able to take a look at that. So thinking about what types of people you envision are going to be added to this particular membership, that's how you would base whether you're allowing secondary or tertiary members as part of a business membership, or really any membership that includes multiple people.
Yeah, there are a couple of other things that are worth noting about secondary members in case people don't recall. Secondary members are billed by ClubExpress at half the rate of primary members, and tertiary members, because they don't have a login, aren't billed at all. So that may also give you an idea of how you want to configure the distribution.
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and save my changes since I made a couple of changes to my fees at the very bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign up a primary contact and a business. So I'm going to just open up a new browser here so that I can log in as a new member. So I'm not logging in. I'm just going to go ahead and click Join Now. Because the Northwest Balloon Club has added business memberships, at least one business membership, to their list of member types, they have a new option available to outsiders on their sign-up page. So normally you would just see the option to join the club as a new member, but because we have at least one business membership, we have the option to add themselves to an existing business membership. Now, that's something that's going to come into play later. Right now, the primary contact is joining as a new member. Everyone else who adds themselves to that business membership will select, I want to add myself to an existing business membership. The first time through, it's just joining as a new member. Everyone after who's joining that existing business membership, that existing company, adds themselves to an existing membership. So first up, let's go ahead and create a business membership. And my name's Betty. I work at Basket Company, and I'd like to list my business as a member of the Northwest Balloon Club. And I want other members of my business to be able to add themselves. So I'm going to say that I'm going to go ahead and create a membership where members can use that special code. And I'm just going to go through a few pages of the membership sign-up wizard. And most of this will look familiar to you. Again, if you have questions about this, you should consult our help system or watch a few tutorials on going through that membership sign-up wizard. Now, on the sign-up page for your contact information, you'll see what we were talking about with the differences between the member profile for a multi-person membership versus the member profile for a business membership, where we're asking for organization information first because the organization or the business truly is the member. So I'm going to go ahead and add some business information here. And at the very bottom is where I actually add my member contact information. Now, again, this member is technically a primary member. However, they're just the member contact for that particular organization. And I'm going to put in my own email address because Betty's going to get an email every time somebody signs up under her business. And I want to be able to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to click next. Members still have the option to designate interests. So if you're going through and creating business memberships, you might want to add a few interests to help further decide what type of business that is. You could even add a few more additional member data questions to help narrow down what that business is all about. Of course, your businesses can add and list themselves to your business directory, but take advantage of a lot of the tools that we've already given you. They'll do even more for you now that you have this extra option to add business memberships where, again, it's truly a business membership. So on the final page here, Betty still has the option to add additional people at this stage, but she may not necessarily know who wants to sign up and be a member. Maybe she just doesn't want to pay for those people and she wants everyone in her organization to pay for themselves. Again, she still has the ability to add people, but she doesn't have to. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. And this is where I would designate my password. And now I get to the review section. I can take a look at all of the contact information that I've entered, confirm it, and click done. So now Betty Ball is officially a business member of this particular organization. All she did was go through the exact same membership sign-up wizard that many of your members are already used to. There really wasn't any major difference aside from that focus on your business information. So now when Betty visits her profile, we'll go ahead and refresh the page. Maybe we have to log out. When Betty visits her profile, under personal information, it took a minute for it to appear, she still has access to that chapter additional members section. That's where she is going to either add additional members to the business membership or access that special code that she can distribute to other people in her business that they can use to add themselves to her membership. So let's take a look at that. Again, we're seeing pretty much the same screen, except now we have a business membership card that explains the process to Betty. So it tells her right away that she can add up to 20 people, which is how we configured it in our member type screen. And it says that she will have the opportunity to approve those requests. So just because she distributes the code to everyone doesn't mean that just anyone can go ahead and add themselves. For example, if she distributes the code to one person and that person might be Gemma, and Gemma accidentally forwards it to someone outside their organization, Betty would still have that last say. She'd still have that final approval or rejection of that membership should someone outside the organization get their hands on that code. So this is the unique code that Betty can send to any of her employees. It's a different code that's sent to every single organization, but Betty sends the same code to everyone at her organization. So there isn't a unique code per secondary member. It's just one code that's sent to everyone. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to copy that code to my clipboard because I'm going to show you now what it looks like when someone wants to sign up and add themselves to Betty's membership. So for that, what I'm going to do is, instead of being logged in as Martin Smith, I'm actually going to log in, or I'm going to log out, and I'm going to join as Carla Copper. Carla works with Betty, and now she's visiting the Northwest Balloon Club, and she's not joining as a new member. She wants to add herself to an existing business membership. And right away, she's asked for the authorization code. That's that special code that Betty would have given Carla. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that code in and click Next. So now Carla still has to go through the membership sign-up wizard because she's still technically a member. Now under organization information, where she'd be entering her contact information, the contact information for Baskets Galore is auto-filled. The system recognizes that that's the business that Carla is adding herself to, and it's going to autofill that information. Now, but what if Carla works at a different location of Baskets Galore? Maybe Baskets Galore is a chain. She works at the second location, or maybe a different branch, or maybe she works at corporate and Betty works at a more local shop. If Carla edits the address or really any of the information for that organization, it only changes for Carla. So if you have organizations who have, it's a chain location or they have multiple branches, you have the ability to allow every member within that membership to have their own address information included there. So for example, instead of 789 Flower Street, we're going to call this 789 Sycamore. And everything else looks fine. We're going to add Carla's name and go ahead and click Next. Carla can still add her own interests. This is obviously useful for another reason. If you have forums that are configured based on interest, especially if you might, consider opening up forums to your business members, you can narrow it down by interest. And I'll go ahead and complete this particular application. Now, once I hit submit, Carla gets a message that her membership is submitted, and the business membership coordinator is going to review her application, and she'll get a notice if she's been accepted or rejected. So Carla doesn't have the option to log in right now. She's still not technically a member. But what's going to happen is, in a moment, there's an email that's going to come through. We'll give it just a couple of minutes here. Betty's going to get an email that tells her that there's been a new person who's added themselves to her membership, and she needs to go ahead and take a look at their contact information, and she needs to approve or deny it. I'm going to go back into and just refresh that page for Chapter's additional members so I can go in and see who's decided they want to add themselves to my particular membership. So when Betty goes and visits her Chapter additional members page, either on her own or once she receives the email stating that someone's added themselves to her business membership, she can see the name of the person, the membership card for that person if you have the downloadable membership cards for your organization. Clicking the edit icon opens up a pop-up window that looks exactly like the pop-up window you'd see if you were adding a secondary member, where you can see all of that contact information. You can see the bio for that particular person and edit the bio. All of those options that are available to you as primary members for dealing with secondary members, those are still there for you. The two new options are to approve or reject the membership. If Betty approves of Carla, Carla gets an email letting her know that she's been approved to be added to that particular business membership. And she can then log in with her username, her password. She can go about her day as a member of the Northwest Balloon Club. That's also when Carla would pay her fee. So we didn't configure this particular member type to include a fee. But if it did, Carla would not be asked to pay until her membership has been approved. If Betty rejects Carla's membership, she's prompted to enter in a required reason of why she is rejecting that particular member. The reason doesn't have to be particularly detailed, but it gives a chance to explain why that particular membership isn't going through. So instead of rejecting the membership, I'm going to go ahead and approve the membership. I'm prompted to confirm my action. And now Carla Copper is an active member of my Baskets Galore membership. Now, before we advance on to take a look at member profiles very much and the member manager, we're going to go through very quickly and add a member using the other type of business membership. So we're going to go back to the join page, and we're going to add a business member where the primary contact is the one who adds all of the additional members to their membership. And this is going to look exactly like existing corporate or household memberships that you might have. So under business membership, we're going to go ahead and go through just a couple of pages here of the membership sign up wizard. And let's say that, perhaps the reason that Eddie's signing up for this particular membership is that he happens to know Carla. They work in the same building. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in the contact information. Now, again, the aspect of adding a member versus allowing members to add themselves doesn't affect any other aspect of the membership. The secondary members still get their own member profile. They can still log into the site. They still have the ability to edit the organization and contact information without affecting the rest of the members in that particular business. Really, the only difference is that primary member is the one who's responsible for adding in the extra members. Now, on this page, again, Eddie can add all of his members at this particular time. He doesn't have to. I'll go ahead and click next, and we'll go ahead and add in his username and password, confirm his information, and now Eddie is officially a member of this particular organization. And now if Eddie visits his member profile, we'll refresh the page, log back in as Eddie. Now when Eddie views his member profile, he has access to the chapter additional members within his membership. Now you'll see that Eddie doesn't have a code. That's because he's the one who's responsible for adding all of those members. So if Eddie would like to add an additional member to his membership, that's when he has to add in the same contact information that we were looking at previously. He would add in their name, their address information, of course, an email address so they can be contacted and they can actually have a login for the website. Another thing that you'll want to note is that when you're adding member types to your list of member type offerings, you want to make sure that you have your options configured to allow charges to go through in the middle of someone's membership. So if they don't add all of their members right at the beginning and they add members after the fact, you want to make sure that you can allow them to add members after the fact, because otherwise they won't be able to add anyone if they don't do it through the membership sign-up wizard, and that you're still going to charge them for those membership additions that come through.
So when you're done with this, go back in as an administrator and show where you would set that up. The question that I have, just for clarification, is if the primary member in the business account or the business type is signing up other people, as you just showed, that means that that person is responsible for paying for those members. And when people sign themselves up, they're responsible for paying for themselves. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. So for example, I think I mentioned it with Betty and Carla. Betty could have added additional members to her membership, even though she has that special code. But yeah, maybe Betty just doesn't want to pay for everyone. So Betty distributes the code and leaves that up to everyone else to sign themselves up at their leisure and to pay for their own memberships. Now, of course, Betty could decide through a couple of other features on your ClubExpress site. If you're not familiar with our bulk payment option, I encourage you to look that up in our help system and play around with that a little bit. Betty could have sent in a check or paid by credit card for everyone who signs up for her organization. She has that ability, but that's an entirely different topic. But yes, in this case, everyone who signs themselves up individually is responsible for their own fees.
We have a question, say, that says, so if we change the member types, when we sign up for the next year, will it auto sign them in as a business, or do I need to go through them all and change them?
So it won't transfer any existing business memberships. You could change the membership, or you could discontinue the existing business membership. So if you stop offering your existing business or corporate membership, which was likely just configured as a multi-person membership, they wouldn't be able to select that to renew. You wouldn't have new people signing themselves up through that way.
Yeah, so, this is from Carrie, and Cassie, she's in a Chamber of Commerce. And so I guess she's trying to figure out the best way to move forward and convert these member types into business memberships. And one of the best things to do would be just to give our customer success people, our support people, a call and let them work with you, because if you had thousands, they might be able to do something automated behind the scenes. If it's just a matter of a few dozen, it would take less time to do them manually. So give them a call and they'll be happy to walk you through it. One of the questions I have is that, say you are letting people enter themselves via a code. Can you still, as the owner, the primary contact, add people manually, and then you pay for the people that you're entering manually?
Yes, the primary contact in either case can add people and pay for them. So like I said, Betty could have added people to her membership and paid for them. Eddie obviously can only add people and pay for them. Administrators can go through and add people in the same way that you can add additional members to memberships now, and either apply a payment that may have been sent to you already via check or cash, or leave the payment open and that prompts the new member to pay for themselves.
There's a follow-up question saying, well, how does this affect the chamber directory feature? And I'm assuming for a moment that she's talking about the business directory as opposed to the member directory.
So there really isn't a major change. One of the things to note is that when you configure your business directory, one of the options that you actually touch is what member types are allowed to post themselves on your business directory. So I hadn't previously added our new business membership types. So I'm going to go ahead and save those now. And so now if I switch back to my other browser, and let's see if we can refresh the page here. I might have to log back in as Eddie. So now if Eddie views his profile, He still has the ability to edit his business directory listing. All of his contact information still auto-populates. It doesn't really change anything as part of the business directory, just that his contact information is auto-filled for his business, and he can add himself to the business directory in the same way that any other member could add themselves to the business directory.
So there's a question here that says, are all individual members who are also members under a business membership duplicated? They said they could use a difference, say, for their individual membership and their business membership. So, well, that's typically somebody would not have two memberships. It's like being a member of two families.
Sure.
You know, you're an individual person, but the question is, do you have your own primary login, or are you part of a family? So typically somebody would not have two memberships. Well, first of all, you wouldn't want to pay for two memberships. So the question is, it's just a matter of member type. And so this is a way for a Chamber of Commerce to set up a business membership and say, okay, the business membership is for this particular sandwich shop chain, and somebody's going to manage it. And all the managers from all the sandwich shop chains are part of that membership. They did not have to have individual memberships.
Right.
There's a question here that says, will this let us sign people up for events by looking up the business name?
That's a question I don't know the answer to. Alan, do you know that? Still search for the member, because the member still exists. The member is still the one who is attending the event, not so much the business itself. Their business information would still show. For example, one of the reports that you can run within an event is name tags that include business information. So that information still pulls through, but it is the member who's attending the event.
All right. So the clarification for the previous question is, if somebody wants to move to a business membership, do they end their individual membership? And typically an administrator could go into anybody's profile and change their member type.
That actually takes me to my last stop for the day, which is the member manager. So within the member manager, nothing changes. Now you're able to search through by member type, including the new business memberships that you've added. So let's take a look at the business memberships that we have where the members use their code. We have a few that are added already. And one of the things that I mentioned was that the business name is the name that's highlighted. You still have the member name, but the business name is bold. The membership type is still the same. And if we go into the profile for that particular business or member, it's going to that member that's listed right underneath that business name. And instead of saying contact information under personal info, it says organization profile. So if we take a look at the organization profile, right away we see the organization information. Now, one of the things that I wanted to demonstrate quickly was that in the case of Baskets Galore, both Betty and Carla are working at different addresses. So under Betty, for example, if we take a look at her organization information, she works at 789 Flower Street. Now, if we go back into the member manager and we take a look at what Carla added, under Carla's organization information, she's at 789 Sycamore. So just because Carla updated that information, it didn't blast it out to the remaining members in that particular membership. All it did was update it for her own personal member profile. If you want to change the membership information for this particular member, let's go back into Angela. So as an administrator, you have the ability to adjust the member type, expiration date, information under personal info of every member profile. So here's where you would view a drop-down menu of all of your member types. We have a lot that are on our demo site that are available to administrators only. So you'd be able to change the member type, and it would adjust the, let's say that we go with an individual member, it would adjust all of the remaining information accordingly. So you can change members into a completely different member type. I guess the final note in that case would be if you have multiple members who are not related in any way at this point, but they're part of the same business, you would maybe want to only change the member type of one member and then have the remaining members sign themselves up using that code. If you're changing a family membership into a business membership, that information will still cross over. But if you have multiple people who have signed up individually that would like to be paired together in a business membership, you'll want to change the member type of one and have the rest of the people either add themselves with that code or have the primary member add the remaining members.
Yeah, a little follow-up to the question about searching for events, about can you search for the company name? I am guessing that the answer is no. It's probably still going to be searching for the member last name.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, this is still very member-centric, it's individual-centric. It's just aggregating people under a particular account, much the same as if you had a husband and wife and they have different last names. If you search for, you're really only searching for last name. You're not saying, well, the owner of the account, we're going to search only for their name. Mm-hmm. So at the moment, it may be something we'd want to add, but at the moment, no, you would be searching by the member name.
Were there any other questions?
I think we covered all of it. Now, for those people that have a whole bunch of people that you'd want to move, it is entirely possible that our customer service people could help with that. So you should give them a call and figure out what's best for your organization. And I think that's pretty much it.
Well, that covers business memberships. Again, we just announced this as part of our 9.4 release. And like with any of our new enhancements, there are things that you might like to see that can be part of later builds. So if you do have suggestions, things that would, work for your organization a bit more, feel free to send those to us. You can send any suggestion about any module to ideas@clubexpress.com. And most of our enhancements are based on user suggestions. So again, anytime you have an idea or a suggestion, reach out to us.
Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. Stay safe, and we'll see you at the next webinar.
Bye, everyone.